So why is it as I get older, more and more people tell me that I should go on a cruise, like on a big cruise ship? I'm not sure that going on a really big ship with a lot of people I don't know is my idea of a good time. Now, when I looked up on the internet why people cruise, there are a lot of reasons that kind of pop up. And I want to go through those and talk to you about them and how this experience kind of aligns with those things or maybe is a little bit different. This cruise is a Columbia River cruise, and for 8 days, 7 nights, we are going to kind of head east up the Columbia River, turn around and come back. I have never been on the Columbia River, so this is a whole new experience for me. I want to let you know that I'm on this cruise and it's not costing me anything, but Uncruise has no editorial say on this video. I'm able to kind of share with you guys my experience on this cruise. Now, the first thing I think that a lot of people like about cruising is it's so easy to plan. I mean, really the only thing I had to do was get to Portland and fly home out of Portland. Other than that, Uncruise is planning everything. And I'm guessing when you're on a 3,000 or 4,000 or 5,000 person cruise ship, it's kind of the same deal, right? The big question here is, are those things that they're planning things that I want to do? Because if I'm on a big ship and they're taking me to a port of call with many other big cruise ships, that's not my vibe. Now, with Uncruise, we go to a lot of out-of-the-way places. And if I tried to link up all of the places that we are going, if I tried to do that on my own, that would be a really hard trip to put together. But because they've done it for me and done a really good job, this is easy to plan, and it's planned in a way that I would actually want to experience it. So this is day 2 of the trip, and this is our second hike. And for me, it's one of the things that makes this cruise so different than what I thought cruises were. Another thing people say about cruising is it's an incredibly social experience. And what they mean by that is you get on a ship for a week with people and you're going to get to know people. Well, on a ship with 4,000 or 5,000 people, I don't know about you, but that might not lend itself to me being super social. But on a ship like this where there are 60 passengers, by midweek I recognized everybody on site, and I probably know half the people by name on this ship and have had meaningful conversations with dozens of them. And because there's a small number of people, it's easier for me to kind of connect. These are people who like to do a lot of the things that I like to do, and I have a lot in common with them, and it makes it that much easier to be social.
Beautiful, beautiful.
Okay, this one's a little tricky. This one is food. And I know cruising on big ships, the food is everywhere. And a lot of people really, really love that part of the big cruise experience. For me, I'm not cruising to eat. That's not to say that the food on this cruise is not excellent, because it is. It's just, it isn't overemphasized. It's just one of the things that are done really, really well on this particular cruise. What I read on the internet, and what makes a certain amount of sense, is that when you go on these bigger cruises, they try and get you, in many cases, on the ship at a low cost, and then everything is going to be charged extra. When Betty and I went with Uncruise to Alaska, and I've noticed on this trip as well, everything is included. There is not a moment when you're on board when you have to think about money. The money has already been spent, and now you're here strictly to enjoy yourself. And for me, when I think about value, when I think about what I want, I would much rather plan ahead for a vacation that is a little bit more expensive, as opposed to having to be on my vacation and have a budget and be concerned with the amount of money that I'm spending. I think the thing that gets under my skin about being told I need to cruise is this idea of being pampered. I guess a lot of people go on cruises because they don't want to do anything. They want to be taken care of. They want to be pampered. And I want to be pampered as much as the next person. Look, having 3 meals a day cooked for me, having my room cleaned, being treated really nicely for a week, is my idea of being pampered. But at the same time, I want to be pushed outside of my comfort zone a little bit. I want to go on hikes that are hard. I want to go river rafting in cold water and get splashed in the rapids. These are the types of things that make me feel alive and just really kind of feed me in a way nothing else can. And I think as I get older, it is so important for me to be pushed out of that comfort zone, because if someone wasn't pushing, maybe I'd spend more time there than I should. So on balance, when I kind of look at all of the reasons that you should cruise on a large cruise ship, I'm going to say that's not for me. But if you want to do an adventure cruise, if you want to do a small ship cruise, if you want to get off the boat and do physical stuff, well, you can do a lot worse than the Columbia River Tour that Uncruise puts on.